There was nobody that could recognize what was going on with me in the new school.
Yeah, because nobody knows like what you like how you
Nobody
acted
knew.
on a regular to know that
Nobody knew.
something's not normal.
And the craziest part too is not even a week into school, somebody jumped on me and started talking crazy to me and got into a fight, and I ended up getting suspended. Of course, my mother, being, the good woman that she is, has to discipline her child because he just got into a fight, not realizing like that's not what I needed. I did not need to be in trouble like at home too.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm going through enough crazy shit as it is. Like,
And then to not take my word for it that I was attacked, right? Like I was attacked and I just defended myself. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Streamers Paradise podcast. We are on episode 109. We got
oh,
Clutch, Bo. I'm Hazy. What's up, guys?
Yo, what up, everybody?
Demi Bob coming in with the rate of 63. What the fuck is up with Twitch? I have no idea, but it's making me want to fucking throw up. It's
you're
making
saying
me.
I don't. Is this like a today thing?
Nah, it's been like this for the last couple days anyway. But I definitely am at my wit's end.
They're always changing shit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but fuck them. I mean, for real, I don't even. I don't know what to say. Nothing you
Not
can.
really much that can be done, right?
No, there's nothing you can do. Can't do shit. You're just sitting here having to deal with it.
But what is it? It's just not counting everybody. Or is it something with the raids?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no clue. I couldn't tell you. I'm not even gonna try to
Figure it out.
speculate. Nah, because it just makes me mad.
Wait for an
Bother.
announcement.
But I'm pretty sure that they're changing something. It always happens when there's some update. Like the last time it happened is when they switched everything over to be like TikTok, like on the app.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Kind of. Okay, I know you're talking about. Yeah, having stories and whatnot now and shit.
Oh, I noticed that. I see that on my open the phone app. I see it, and I think you can see like above the stream.
mm, the
I
update with
don't.
the
I don't know, man.
feature.
Like I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna come and just Twitch to check anybody's.
I mean, I'm on
If I
Twitch
was,
enough.
that's what I'm saying. Like I want to watch. I'm here for the long form content. I want.
Yeah. No, no, no. I get that. But at the same time, there's a lot of potential there for them to be able to,
Capture
really.
advertising.
Who knows what there's a lot of potential though. There's a lot of potential for it to be an app that people use to post videos more so than live stream only, because that's what they're trying to get into, right? Like you posting clips and shit from.
Yeah, probably a good revenue generator, right? Because it's like, okay, if nobody's streaming, how do we make money? Right? They have their ads, but Twitch doesn't. I don't like, as far as I've ever read, Twitch was at a loss even once Amazon.
They've always been at a loss, running at a loss, but they can't be at a loss completely, right? It can't be. How
I
what
mean,
doesn't make
what's the point? What's the
sense.
point of keep staying in business if you're constantly losing money?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. We need staff. We need staff more than we've ever needed. Bro, this shit is no joke. I'm tired, bro. I really am. I've been tired for a long time.
Doing
I
this
was
almost
trying to
20
like
years, man.
be more active, and then life just.
My life is crazy right now with my kid. I don't know how people do it with more than one. I really don't. This shit is crazy.
Grow it up and hope. To be honest, sometimes I'm like, it sucks, dude. Sometimes I feel like such a bad. I get aggravated easy.
Oh my god. I feel
Sometimes
that near you
I'll
too.
like yell at some shit, and I'll be like, yeah, they kind of storm off, and no, is it really that serious?
I was actually just saying something to Chi about kids and how they want to be your best friend.
I
Like
know,
they,
dude.
yo, your kid is more invested in you than any other person in the world, right? Your children love you and respect you and want your approval, and they just want this kind of like you got to think, dude, didn't you think of your parents as like not human in a little bit of a way, you
It's
know?
like you just want to impress them. Oh, look what I did. Even if I did it on my own. Like, oh, look, I fucking poured milk all over the place. Hey, I got half of it in my bowl. Made my own bowl of cereal.
Right, and because you're tired from work doing all this
Yeah,
shit,
all you focus on, all I focus on is spilt milk.
it's the negative, right? And that's what causes the trauma. That's what causes the resentment,
Yeah,
even though it's small, right? Like it's just
it's
you
just
raise your
milk, dude. Just fucking trash.
milk.
No, that's the thing. But it's like, I look at it like, what did I just get mad over? Like, what the
You got
like I
you
look at
got
it after.
yeah, but that's part of the problem, bro. I'm like that. Recognizing it after the fact and not being able to deal with your bullshit while it's happening.
Yeah, because
Like
only sorry, I'm sorry. Only
they didn't ask to be
only
here.
goes so far.
I'm sorry doesn't mean shit. It
Especially if you
doesn't.
do it again. Especially when you do it again.
I am guilty of doing the same thing over and over again and being sorry for it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be a fucking perfect person, you know? I have problems in all aspects of life. There's always there's always gonna be that kind of thing. If so with kids, right? That's what I was saying. They want to be your best friend. They want to impress you. They want to do all this stuff. And if you are angry just because they exist, like how fucking terrible is that? I just feel like I grew up with a very angry father. Like he was angry, man, all the time. Never I don't really have many memories of him just laughing and being happy, you know? I don't know.
It's tough. I try to make sure I make it a point. Like it's something, and this isn't like I have an 18-year-old child. This isn't 18 years in the. This is like 6 months in the make. This is me like finally realizing like I need because I have like the problem is isn't even the kids. Like I'm not mad at the kids half the time. I'm just mad that it's like it's another thing I have to deal with on top of all the other shit outside that I can't really get an at. For example, I do real estate, right? Like I can't go give a client an attitude. I lose money. So what do? I just smile and nod and keep it in, right? And then by the time I get home, around the people that I'm the most comfortable with, it's like, well, guess if I just say this, it's like, what are they gonna do? It's
Yeah.
not that thought process goes through my head, but I'm assuming that's how it's got to be subliminally because I just get aggravated over stupid ass shit sometimes, and then it's like, yeah, then I feel bad as shit. I'm like, yeah, I just yelled at my kids, yelled at my wife. Now I'm in here, I'm over it. I'm not
And they're
mad,
dealing with
but they're
bullshit.
looking at me like, what a fucking dickhead.
Yeah.
I try to make sure that like I go in like when I work from home or if I'm home and they're doing stuff, I try to just ask what they're doing. Tell me about what you're doing. Just I try not to talk. Try to ask some questions and just let them tell me about whatever it is they're thinking about or what they're doing. And then lately, I've been trying to like if they're doing something that like wouldn't normally annoy me, like jumping around on the couches and shit, like that shit drives me nuts. Like, well, I can't. Why do we gotta jump on the couch?
What part are they like screaming when they do it?
Yeah, it's like the WWE. I told you, it's like the fucking WWE in my house, dude. Like jumping on each other and shit. But instead, like now, I just try to fucking jump with them. Cause fuck it. I'd rather them remember that than every time I get mad.
So for me, my frustration generally it comes out when so like my daughter does this. My daughter will come up to me if I'm in my phone or something. Like say I'm trying to do something in Gen Chat or on Twitch or something like that. And it's just for a few minutes. It's like she notices that I'm not watching whatever they're watching. I'm not, engaged with her and she's like, "Hey, yo, what the fuck?" Like she literally comes right over to me and starts slapping my knee now like, "Hey,
Hey, pay
don't look
attention.
in that thing." Yeah, don't look in that thing. She's basically telling me that. And it's hard, man, because like you have to work, right? Like you have to do things.
Yeah.
So it's like that balance is definitely difficult. I don't know how it's gonna look when she goes to daycare in January. When she goes to daycare in January, things should change for me in terms of like, every day. Like I'm gonna have to go back to work because I'm not gonna stay home. I won't have a reason to be home, the kid won't be here. So I'll go back to work. Hopefully I'll get a decent job somewhere. Maybe I can get back into some kind of routine with streaming. Probably not. Uh, and I say probably not just because my house is small, like,
Well, that's what I'm
uh,
saying. Obviously, you can't stream during the day while she's at daycare if you're working day,
right.
and then night she's there. It's
Yeah, no, it's difficult. Like even right now, like she has to take the baby and bring her into our bedroom and like shut the door, turn off the lights, sit in the quiet, make sure that nothing, I still even have to be kind of quiet because she'll wake up. But either way, it's like one of us has to be with her. So it really does make things difficult. But yeah, I don't.
I was gonna say, what about you, Clutch? You living large over there, kids just listen to everything. Happy. Clutch is he's quiet.
Oh, it's I'm kind of like the same thing as you, like whereas a little more overwhelming for me sometimes. You said real estate. I work in customer service basically, so I have to put the
Yes,
same thing, happy face
same shit.
on,
Dealing with
while
people, yeah.
people scream at you, and you gotta just take it in, and but it does get overwhelming. I have Lucas in football, tackle football this year, right?
Let's go.
First year doing it, and Lucas is
You're coaching it.
no, I'm not coaching it actually, not this year. This is like a real. It's kind of like travel football in a way. They take it mad serious. However, his first year, I catch myself, like I know when Lucas likes to try and do his best at a sport, and I caught him like not trying at all out there, which is I guess understandable if you like don't really know the sport, don't even like it like that. Um, but I think coming home one day after work, I remember being mad that day. I had a shitty ass day, and I go to his practice. I see him not trying, and it got me to a point, and it got me upset that I had to tell him off about it. Like, why are you out there not trying? You realize that the coach is never going to put you out there to play. If you don't actually try. It was just like a whole long conversation. But then afterwards, I think about it, I was like, I really shouldn't even be mad about it. Like this is technically his first year. All these other kids been doing it all these other years. It's hard. It's hard because like to control a kid and just things get overwhelming. I guess.
You just want him to
Uh,
do what you want him to do.
I
Like
want him to try his best. Not even like I don't want him to be like I was never that good at football either. I was pretty good at sports, but never like I never played for a sports team. Um, but I know when he tries that he could do good, and he's literally been proven in every sport. This time, I guess he just didn't try, and that's what more upsetted me at that moment. But I should never got upset. He this is his first year. He is just practice right now. I just do want to genuinely see him do good because I know he could do good.
so wait, what did he do? Like he just
It
didn't try, is what you're
it
saying?
didn't it didn't try with the drills. Certain drills are basically like, you have to go for the tackle against the kids. That was
Or
one
he
of the
was just
drills.
kind of like soft with it,
But he
like
was kind of soft, throwing the one hand out, not really trying to tackle the kid. He is a physical contact sport, so I'm thinking in my head maybe he's scared to get tackled. But that's the whole point of football. I kind of even try to talk to him before this whole season started. Like football is tough. Like I told him it was gonna be hard. I want you to try to stick through it. He got one of his friends from his school, so that's why he wanted to do it more. Um, and like I said, it's just day by day. It's getting a little overwhelming for him, but I think now he's picking up to it. He's opening up more now at this point. I'm just saying, like, there's moments that you could just snap for no reason. And it shouldn't be like that.
No, it's like it's easy too for you to say like, hey, like why weren't you trying, right? Like, and in hindsight, it's easy for me to say like maybe he just wasn't having a good day that day. But
That too.
here you are a week later talking to somebody else about it. And it makes sense. But at the moment, 'cause I have that shit too. Like, sometimes I'll be like flipping out on Chris, right? He's 18 years old, and we're getting him set up at college, so he's going to college next week. Day, he's going to a local county college here. But like I'm flipping out over dumb shit that it's like, yo, why didn't you take care of this? Why didn't you take care of that? When I should be like, hey, what do you need help with? Because your first year of college, and how much do you fucking right? But I'm just
Exactly.
going, hey, he's 18. He should be able to figure this shit out. So like, you know what I mean? It's like in the moment, what makes sense up here is probably not exactly what's going. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's like a guy thing, because I don't know. I don't think my
It's
wife
a
flips out.
I don't know. Maybe it is a guy thing. It's a parenting thing. I feel like I said, every situation is crazy, and this is like more of my recent thing of Lucas' stage. Um, I should have never got mad at that moment. He's doing better now, but it's just an example of that.
Uh,
so Babella said something interesting before that I wanted to touch on, but he said that you got to be careful because eventually your kids won't reciprocate. Eventually, it's up more up higher than that. It's the next one.
I seen that one. Yeah.
Um,
yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like it's dude, it's
that
like
one.
it's so hard for me to try to be so self-conscious about everything like when it's happening and not let the emotion take over. Sometimes like I get mad when I don't do what I tell them to do. And it's not because I want them to do what I say. Right? Like sometimes it's just the like I'm an adult, right? I've been through whatever it is they're going through, I've probably been through, right? And I try to tell them, "Hey, do it, let's do this, do that." Not because I need to have the say, but it's like, "Hey man, I've learned. Like I've done this. I've fucked this up." Right? But like
I can't
can't
relate to
expect them to know.
I can't relate to the not reciprocating eventually because I feel like I've chased my dad around my whole life and he, for lack of a better term, didn't want me, you know? And I still was like searching for the answer and I still ended up sitting next to him as he died. Like that's like fucking trauma all on its own, you know? Like chasing a parent that doesn't want you.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
Like why don't you want me kind of thing? Like what did I do that was so bad? So I'm trying to put myself in that situation of like so now I'm a parent, right? So I'm trying to think of like what my dad was thinking when we finally left him, right? Because that's part of my story that I don't talk about a lot is that we had to escape from my father, right? We packed up and left one day when he was at work. My mom came home the night before, said that hey, like we're packing up and we're leaving tomorrow, like tomorrow morning. And she kept me home from school and we packed up and we bounced. And I remember talking to him that day and telling him that I wanted to see him because I was put in a situation where I had to keep that a secret too, right? Like we're moving and you can't tell your father. Like the shit is crazy when I think about it. When I think back to it, like how much pressure I was under at like 11 years old.
Yeah, you're not meant to understand. Like but you don't understand. Like you don't have the
No, I
life experiences to understand what's going.
I knew that something was going on that wasn't good, but I didn't know what it was gonna do. right? Because I was in that day, right? In that 24 hours, I went from being in a school where every teacher knew me, every kid knew me. I grew up with these kids from, preschool to now I'm in an inner city school that's like heavily riddled with crime and drugs, and like I'm walking through metal detectors to get into school, and like that's where I moved to. It was a complete culture shock. But having to move away from all of my friends, not having my father, being a young man, right? I'm 12 years old. I was doomed, I was fucking doomed, man. There was nobody that could recognize what was going on with me in the new school.
Yeah, because nobody knows like what you like how you
Nobody
acted
knew.
on a regular to know that
Nobody knew.
something's not normal.
And the craziest part too is not even a week into school, somebody jumped on me and started talking crazy to me and got into a fight, and I ended up getting suspended. Of course, my mother, being, the good woman that she is, has to discipline her child because he just got into a fight, not realizing like that's not what I needed. I did not need to be in trouble like at home too.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like. I'm going through enough crazy shit as it is. Like,
And then to not take my word for it that I was attacked, right? Like I was attacked and I just defended myself. Like it wasn't, I didn't start that fight, right? And I'm trying to like I'm talking about this now and thinking about it all, and it just makes me realize that my father, when we left, he all of a sudden after, 20 years or something, because him and my mom were together for like 5 or 6 years before I showed up, and then they were together. Well, it's the same thing for me and my wife. Like we were together for almost 10 years before my our daughter showed up, before our daughter made an appearance. But it's like, so my dad, I'm telling you, he went 17, 18 years with the same woman. Then he went 12 years having 3 kids, well, 1 kid, then 2 kid, then 3 kids, right? And then in a matter of overnight, we were gone. Literally, like obviously there was tension in the house, right? It was so bad in my house that we were sleeping in the attic and my dad was
he's
sleeping
far
downstairs.
just farther away from everything.
Yeah, me and my sisters and my mother were up in the attic and my dad was downstairs in the bedroom. But like we were separated because he was an addict, he was an alcoholic, and he would get fucking hammered and do really crazy shit. And it was just not fun at all. It was very unpleasant. But what my point in all this is that overnight his family was gone. Now I imagine that there was an incredible amount of pain that he was dealing with, but it wasn't enough to make sure he was in our life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he did not force, he did not fight, he did not make sure that I had the role model I needed. He did very bad things to my family. And then when we left, that was his get out of jail free card, Like, oh shit, let me look around here. I don't have kids or a wife, and I got this house. And rather than sit and like be alone and try and be a better person, he fell into the negativity and fell into that nightlife and to the dark shit and just started, partying. And then that was it, man. That was the rest of his life until he got sick. So he might have gotten 20 years, something like that, total. And, the last couple, he's been super sick doing nothing. So maybe 15 years he was out partying, and like that's what you sacrificed your life for. Like 15 more years of partying. Not like if you were with your family, if you tried to be a good parent, if you took care of yourself and tried to be around for us, this wouldn't have been an issue. And
Yeah,
I would
you
have
would
had
have
the
been.
father
Yeah,
that I needed, and I wouldn't have been so fucking lost as a child. Right? Like even my uncles, and like I really think, like thinking, I'm sort of God, I'm having this is happening to me right now in real time. Like in real time, I am thinking about all this because I don't think about this shit every day. But even my uncles, like my mom's brothers, like I don't know what I would have expected from them, but they weren't what I needed either. Like I just didn't have a solid male role model. And because of that, I was lost for many years. And I ended up in drugs and I ended up in jail. And man, dude, like you can just see why it happened. Like I just told you why it happened. I just laid the whole fucking thing down for you. Like I had no fucking shot, bro. I was fucking doomed.
I got I want to say lucky well before.
But but
I have
but
two
but
I have two memories of this.
the
One
problem
throwing
with me though is I had a good stepfather and I couldn't respect him because my father was in my ear telling me he was a bitch, telling me he was a pussy, telling me you can't fucking respect that guy, da 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 da, right? Like my dad was in my life enough to fuck with me,
yeah, it's like
to confuse me.
just enough. I got lucky. Like my real father wasn't in my like after a certain age. I have two memories of him. One throwing something at my mother, and then second is him throwing something at his wife after. So literally, there's only two memories I have of him. I chose to stop seeing him on my own. Me and my brother did, and luckily we had a good did show us how to how to be.
I had a stepfather pretty like my mom and dad split up when I was like 11. We had moved out when I was 12. I think when I was 14, my mom was remarried and she remarried a really nice guy. Like he was a nice person. He was good to us. I went from living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 people to living in a 5-bedroom house. The guy had money. You know what I mean? Like he was a good dude. He treated us right. And I couldn't respect him. Like I just couldn't do it. Like I was so torn. I was 16, right? Like I'm 16 years old. I'm out with my friends. My father at this point is giving me drugs. Like we're selling drugs together. And when you add that into this, it's like what were you thinking? You know, like I just
And
can't picture I can't picture doing that to my daughter. Like fuck no. What? Like I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure she understands drugs have destroyed me. You know, like
yeah,
they've made me waste so much time. I just don't know what I could have done differently, man. Like I feel so robbed. Like sitting here right now talking about it, like I was fucking robbed of any kind of like genuine. Ugh. It's hard to even say out loud.
tough man. Even I don't even have words to say for you. Like it's wrong, right? I think that's part of the reason why I like I had Chris really young. I had a Chris at an age when I couldn't make my own decision. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I was not making the best of decisions, and then um, there came a point when when he started like walking and talking, he developed a personality instead of just like baby that you gotta feed stuff. And I like had this epiphany when I almost got arrested. Um, I just somehow got super find it, and it was like I had like a breaking point where I was like, fuck, I either can turn out like my father and not be in his life, or like I can just stop fucking about. And so I think I was blessed in taking the shittier situation I was dealt, which is I'm actually kind of thankful for what I had.
People got it way worse than me, bro.
I know it's crazy, but like I don't know many people.
Yeah.
I talk about it all the time, like to myself. Like I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day who I hadn't seen since my wedding. Picture that shit. He's in the military, so he's always traveling. He's always teaching different courses, and he's a very busy guy. Works like 70 hours a week, but he lives right down. I mean, his dad lives right down the street from me. And I was talking to him the other day. He came over. I talked about this on the podcast, but he came over and we sat and we talked. And he knew my father from when he was a little kid, right? He had no idea because you don't tell
Still, you don't talk about it.
You don't right, you're not gonna even your closest friends, especially when you're that young, right? When you're that young, you don't wanna tell anybody things like that because you can't really trust anyone. Kids can't keep secrets,
I
right?
also don't think it's not
Anything that's
that you don't
hurting you
trust
so
anyone.
bad.
I don't think as at that age you're not developed enough to fully understand what's going on. Just see what your perspective is, and I think sometimes you go, maybe it's I don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. You're young to really know, so it's like just try not to even think about it yourself. Go out and like, all right, I'm out with my friends. I'm doing away from that.
Yeah, I mean, even younger than that though, I'm talking about like riding bikes shit. Like, you know what I mean? Hey mom, can I go to the neighbors? Can I go to
Yeah, yeah.
Mikey's house? Like that kind of thing. I don't want you walking on the road. It's too late. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Like you had to ask permission. So I'm talking about that far back when when you weren't a teenager, when you weren't a preteen, you were 9, 8, 9 years old. You know, you're asking your mother for everything. Um, that's the age that I was when this stuff started. And it's like you can't tell your friend that you're dealing with this kind of shit because you're afraid that they're going to tell somebody else. I feel like I knew that inherently, even with my best friend Mike, who I still talk to 30 years later, right? I don't think I trusted him to tell him this stuff. And I said that to him. I was like, I don't think I trusted you then. And he was like, you couldn't have. Like we were both brutal to each other. You know, like we were the most brutal, like we were like brothers, you know? Like so we always elevated each other in the sense of don't be a pussy, don't be a bitch, you know what I mean? Get up, right? His parents were alcoholics, right? Now this is the funny story. His mom and dad were alcoholics and they were out in Front Street, right? Like in the front yard arguing, fighting, cops getting called, totally considered white trash, right? And everybody knew it. You know, that kind of thing. Like that house on the corner, there's some
No, don't
fucked
go
up,
over there. Yeah, don't go over there.
right? You didn't have that when you looked at my house, right? It didn't look like that from the outside looking in. But when you looked at Mikey's house, you were like, that kid's got it fucked up. You know, like his parents are alcoholics, they're all fucked up, da 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 da. His parents stay together even though they're alcoholics, right? They stayed together, they raised him. He ends up doing all right. All those kids did all right. Most of them don't drink because their parents drank, right? It's like I don't know. I think the parents staying together is a big thing. It's a big difference. So we both had abuse. We both had fucked up individuals, like individual lives, but it was very different in the sense of his was all out in the front and everybody knew about it, but nobody knew about mine, and everybody thought that everything was good. You know, like nobody could see mine, but it was fucking horrible. Everyone could see his, but it wasn't really that bad. You know what I mean?
See,
Like his
people
parents,
see his, and I think they go, oh, like maybe somebody should go get Mikey. Maybe somebody help Mikey out with this. Meanwhile, oh, like you're just nobody knows anything's wrong. Oh,
right? Exactly. And then it's something that's so kind of dark that you don't want to tell anybody about it because it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like it's embarrassing. It's fucked up. But I said this whole fucking story just to say I don't know how I ended up at my father's, deathbed after all of this stuff that has gone on. I still felt like I had to do that shit for myself. Like I had to be there because if I wasn't there, I'll never forgive myself. I'm not going to be able to, get past it. What could he have said? What would he have said? And then I go there with the best of intentions to tell everything that I can say to him, like to him, right? I'm going to tell you how I feel. You're going to answer me. We're going to have a decent conversation and I'm going to get the closure that I needed. That all goes out the window once you see your parents sick like that, no matter what happened, right? It's like, as soon as I walk in, he's like, Shane, it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It wasn't all bad. He's like, no, but I mean it. Do you believe that? Like, and I don't believe that. But I told him I did, you know? Like I said, I forgive you. I don't think I do forgive him. But like I said it in that moment, And that's fucked up, man. Like I should have held on to it. Like I shouldn't have I should have steadfast. I should have not like folded to the fact that he was sick and dying, right? Like I should have just, you made this bed, you
Yeah,
know?
it's
I didn't make this bed. Like you're here, you should be alone, technically. You know, like there's nobody here. Nobody's around. Look at what you've done.
yeah.
Think about
Who's the only one there? Crazy. Nobody. So it was literally just you.
yeah, until the 11th hour. And then his sister showed up. Not all of them either, just a couple. And then my cousin Riva and my cousin Rita, very Italian, if you didn't know. um, Riva and Rita and Chuck, they showed up, and my aunt Gina and my aunt Lisa. I have the lighting here. I have it off on purpose.
Can't. I was gonna say the kid. Can't wait. Yeah.
I have it off on purpose. Um, yeah, I don't know. So he called me down there. I'm the only one that got the phone call, right? So it's like I had called him
Oh, he
maybe like,
called you.
yeah, bro. He didn't call me. He had the doctors call me. Well,
Well, yeah.
my aunt called me. So I'm sitting here just like any other day, right? It's I don't remember what we were about to do. I just remember I remember getting the call and knowing exactly what it was. Um oh right. I was literally about to VC this fucking prick that was on the Facebook groups that was talking shit. Exactly. Right. I was literally about to get into this call with this guy on the Facebook that was shitting on the fact that we do a raid train. And he joined the
Why do
server
I
and
like vaguely remember this post too? I remember seeing.
because we did an entire fucking podcast on it.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, that's
We
why.
did an entire podcast on it.
No, but I feel when it was going on,
What's that?
but like while it was going on.
So no.
No, but I
Well,
remember.
yeah, it happened, and then like the day after. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I'm literally like, I'm like, yo, I'm ready to talk. I got some time. Let's do this. And he had hit me back like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And as soon as I sat down in this chair, in this fucking, my phone rings and it's my aunt. And I knew it exactly. My aunt does not call me on that side unless one of two things happen, right? The first thing is I lose my wallet in the grocery store. The reason why they call her to call me is because she is the district manager and they know my last name, right? So when they see my last name, they see her last name, they call her and she goes, oh, that's my nephew. And boom, I've done it twice. This hasn't happened more than that. I'll be serious. I've lost my wallet twice in that store where she's called me. And when I saw the call, I knew that it wasn't her for that reason because I hadn't gone to the store. Right? So I knew it. I was like, fuck. Like I know something's bad. So I can hear it in her voice and I say to her, is he dead? And she says, not yet, but he's going to die. If you want to say goodbye, you have to come down. So I go down. But I immediately fucking cracked, right? And had this panic because I go, fuck, my daughter's never gonna meet him. Right? That was the first thing that I thought was, fuck, like why didn't I bring my baby to him earlier? Because the only thing that I've wanted like from him was to get my sisters and my brother, everyone together to take a picture. Because I have a picture of everyone when I was maybe like 6 or 7. Because my sister, my littlest sister, was a newborn, and my brother, me, my 2 sisters, my nephew Josh, and my dad are all in this picture. And I wanted to recreate the picture with all of the new family members, right? Like it was a dream of mine. It's making me emotional thinking about it because I begged my sisters for that, and they wouldn't do it. They have their reasons, and that's fair. But I think that I wanted that picture so bad because like I don't have very many good memories. So not having it, well, having it, getting it was something that I really wanted. And I couldn't get everyone to agree. And that was the first thing I thought about was, man, I'm never going to get this picture. And then immediately I say, fuck, my baby's never going to meet him. Like I'm never going to get to have a picture of my baby and her grandfather. So I have these thoughts in the matter of like 3 minutes, like in a matter of just minutes, I have these thoughts where all of this shit's rushing down my, through my brain. And I say to my wife, I say, why didn't I do this sooner? Like, why didn't I fucking just do this earlier? Why didn't I call more? I'm just blaming myself for everything. Like, this is all my fault. And it's not. But like in that moment, it felt like it was. It felt like I was just being so prideful to not call my dad. Like, I'm not calling you anymore. I've called you so many times over the years. I'm done. It's your turn. Right? Like you have to make, do the steps to reach out to me now if you want to talk. And that day just never came. Like it never came. So like as cliche as it is, right? That Will Smith Fresh Prince scene where he's crying about his dad leaving him, like his dad comes into his life for a minute and then
I
says
Yeah, I remember that one.
right. Well, I mean, like that's all I could think about. Like I remember seeing that scene in that show and just relating to it so heavily. And then I think about it like you must not want me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I did that was so bad, but you just won't. You just won't, right? Like we don't talk. I call you, you don't call me. If I stop calling, you don't call. So I stopped calling this day that we were arguing about politics at his house. I was busting his chops. I wasn't even being serious. I was just fucking with him. And he got so mad that he said, "Get out. Get the fuck out." And I said, "You better be serious cuz I'm not coming back. Like I'm not coming back. I'm just not going to do it." And I stuck to those guns, man. And I stuck to them to the point where he fucking died. I didn't call. I fight with myself with that. Was that the right move? Was that something I should have done? Should I have just dealt with the bullshit just to keep him, just to have him around? But I have all these thoughts as I'm on my way to the hospital, right? Like this is me psyching myself up.
just yeah,
Like,
it's just a drive there,
yeah, just the drive there.
not a lifetime of thought. But
Yeah. In minutes, man. It's minutes because I obviously got right into the car and then we're gone. Right? I'm out. She's like, don't worry about me. Don't worry about the baby. Just go make sure you get it all off your chest. Make sure you do everything you need to do. And as soon as I walk in and I see him, it goes away. It was all fucking out the window. I was ready. I was like, all right, you're a fucking 36-year-old man. You're going to handle this. You're not a fucking kid anymore. You don't get to be a kid. So this is the part that blew my fucking mind. I had just held my daughter's hand as she came into the world. And now I'm holding my father's as he's leaving. And that, man, I don't even know how to describe it. Parents, I don't know if I can agree that our kids will never stop looking for our approval because that man did not deserve anything from me, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I needed to I needed to be there, and it ended up being like the worst thing I could have done, you know. was going there.
Yeah. Okay,
It
yeah.
didn't thing for me in a good way. And I only watched my father die slowly
Seems
and
like you did more for him.
than I did for myself, 100%.
Yeah.
And I said that to Chi after it was over. I didn't do what was right for me, like at all. And I'm carrying this shit still. Like he died almost a year ago now. He died around Christmas last year, and then I got COVID, and then I was sick for fucking 3 weeks. Me, Gianna, and she. It was just an awful time. You know, there was a few people that checked in on me. Right, he did. He met Gianna through a video call. But it was just one of the hardest times of my life. One of the happiest times of my life. All kind of blended together. It's fucking trippy, bro. It's trippy, and it's like all the while I'm getting dragged on the internet by these fucking retards.
By some people.
People, man. I'm sorry you went through that,
There's
bro. I'm
time for that.
sorry. That
Yeah, man,
shit's
that's
rough sometimes, man. I'm a strong believer of like some people are just not meant to be parents, bro. And
Yeah, I agree.
it sucks to like say. I use my sister always as an example. She's not meant to be a parent, so my nephew's becoming fucked up the way he is. Um, I can also say though, like you as a parent, you are not him. You're definitely 100% a lot more better. I always try to do this with Lucas, like use everything that we learn as our experience that you could teach to Gianna. You know, when she does get older and have to go through the situation, at least you could guide her in the right way. You know, I'm so sorry you went through all that though, man.
It's life.
It is life, man.
Life.
It is
It's part
honestly.
of it. I really believe that it was just my turn to deal with it. Like everybody's got to deal with shit like this. I don't think that I'm,
believe in a
special.
God. I believe people won't give you anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think
Hey,
that as humans, we just don't have a choice. We either roll up and die or we push through, you know?
but
And it's like,
Keep
it's
pushing.
crazy to like
That's all we
listen
can
to listen to your story and hear it, how similar it is to mine, but also how different.
mm,
Like my father was a alcoholic. Luckily, got out of it. I didn't live that long. Like I never looked for his. I looked for my stepfather's.
that's a good thing that you were
He
able
passed
to.
away. I think I was like 19, and when my mom told me, I came home from my friend's house. Hey, I need to. Had died. My response was talking about.
Yeah. I've heard
Right.
you
So
tell me
like,
actually.
yeah. So like, it's so crazy. Like how similar it is. How lucky. Like I think she got out early, and I was like, I don't have enough. Like the only memories I have are bad memories, but there's even a lot of them. And he never made a like he never made a reach. Like he never reached out and tried to come back into my life. 17, and coincidentally, it was 2 months after I settled it,
Oh wow.
and I was like, yo, that's not a coincidence. You know what I mean?
No, it's not.
Like he called, and I talked to him. And literally, I don't remember much of the conversation. I just remember saying that I had something going on and I couldn't. And now I was 17, so I don't know what I could have been that important, even be an excuse. But I was really just hanging out with my I just had this feeling like I don't need this. Died 2 years after that.
My sister didn't bat an eye when I called
How
her
old
and
was
said
she? How old was she when?
So she was. I can't really get into this part of the story.
I just want to know that
Just
like age because
my story to tell. Right. I know. Um. 8,
he,
8, and
eh,
then 6, 5.
so when we decided to make the choice. My parents were already split. Like he had visitations. It was at the age of 8 that I decided like I no longer. I was watching him fight with a woman that I couldn't call my step. I was 8. Like it was kind of
Mhm.
fresh, right? So I wouldn't call her my stepmom at that time, and I'm watching him fight with her after just watching him fight with my mother a couple years prior, and I was, what is this? Went there and like I said, it's very different, but
Yeah.
the age is what I'm saying. So like, I was your sister's age. Whatever.
I mean, if that's what it was, the age, and I mean, good for the situation, good for you guys and getting out of there because it only gets harder the longer they stay. So Livy said that she had to do something similar,
Yeah,
bounce out and take the kids and leave, and that's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do to go into the unknown, you know? Go into the unknown, not have any clue really what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, but just trying your best to make sure you're making decisions that are the right decisions. And how can you even know until after? Like that's what I mean. My mother could have never known that moving us the way that she moved us, right? She did what she thought was best at that time. I don't think that she could have even imagined that like my father was going to disappear completely and then, do even more heinous stuff later on. I don't think that she could have never guessed that.
like out of spite.
Yeah, she could have never guessed that stuff. And I don't think that you can naturally assume that like a divorce means you never see that parent again. Like that parent has to put in effort. And the fact is that my dad just didn't put in effort. And then he would tell me he was putting in effort and then put me against my mom, making me think my mom was lying to me type shit. So it was just very heavy, very
A lot to
mind
deal with at a
right, mind games and shit. And then
especially
it's like
because
he got older. I have
how do you not trust your parents at that age, right?
dude, how do you have trust in one and not the other? And then you don't even know, like, dude, it's so hard to even think about. Like, I don't know how I even believed the things that he said, some of them, but I was easily impressionable, and you're a kid. It's just there's a lot to it, and I can't imagine for a second that my daughter could ever be in a situation like that. Like I can't do that to her. I feel like I will always do what I need to do to be in her life. I wish I could ask him how he reconciled that within himself. Do you know what I mean?
The sounds of it,
Yeah.
it just hit
Drank
it
it
bad
all
down.
away, partied all the way is what he said. That was his way of dealing with it.
Right, he did. But the last 3, 4 years when he was on dialysis, he couldn't do that. He couldn't drink. He couldn't party. He could
Oh, he
smoke
was
weed.
on dialysis for.
Years, bro. Years. You can be on it even longer than that. If he was
No, but
taking
I'm
care,
saying, but like if you're on it for years, you're not drinking for. That means he had to be sober for years. Did that
right,
ever come across his mind? Like I didn't know he was on dialysis for four
I
years.
I
Maybe
brought it
stubbornness.
to him. I brought it to him. Yo, you need to fucking talk to my sisters. You need to fix this. You need to do something. Like you need to do something. And he planned it and talked a good game, forever and just never made the call. To the point where he was on his deathbed essentially begging me to get them to show up. Like it was just a painful fucking thing. The whole thing. So then I'm arguing with my sisters, and even on his way to hell, I guess, he still leaves me with this tension. right? Like, because now I'm with my, now I'm bickering with my sisters over this shit. So it's
Yeah.
like it's one last fuck you.
Like, hey, let me ask you to do this favor because I can't do it.
Right. And I don't have any time left, so feel bad, feel guilty, and go do it. Put yourself in a
So
situation.
whatever, yeah. That's like what happens.
I just don't know how you can even die like that and not want to make it better with someone. I don't
I
know.
don't know how
It's
you could live like that.
I'm
Stubborn.
Like I
crazy.
was like
Too.
Oh my
I was
god.
saying I started to get it before, but I didn't get it out. But I was like, I think the one day I could say like my father, like father, same as you, right? But I learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
Was why I
Yeah.
the whole point of this conversation was to say this is how I recognize when this is what makes me recognize when I after I get an attitude with my kids or oh maybe I shouldn't do. Those are like I have
Uh,
enough memories that aren't good.
So that's it's funny. It's funny that you brought it back to that because I do that now. I go, was my dad really that bad? Right? Like I think about it. Like
Like
why?
I go, hey, is he gonna like? Are they gonna remember this moment? Like, is this what they're gonna remember? Is not me laughing, but me yelling about this dumb shit?
So that's what I was just gonna say to you. When my dad was saying it wasn't all bad, right? It wasn't all bad. We had good times. I I didn't even believe it when he said it because I don't remember that. Like I don't remember the good times. My father, right? And this is what I was thinking of. Right now, our children are so small that their memories are going to be very spotty. But you're going to remember this, right? Like you can
Oh, this
remember.
is gonna be like yeah, these highlights are things that like
You're going to
my
see them
brain
on your
is
deathbed,
developed enough to hold this
1000%.
information.
Mm-hmm.
right? When you close your eyes at the end of your life, you're going to have those flashes of when your kids were jumping on the couch, you know? You're going to wish that you could be back there.
I wish they were still jumping on my couch. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's honestly a way to think, but I don't think like that a lot of times. It's like just try to
Emotions
remember what you're gonna
emotions get
do,
in the way.
how you're gonna feel when you're 80 years old. You'll do anything to come back to this moment. Right now, we're in the prime of our lives with our small children. We have the knowledge of what life is, what it's probably going to be, how it's gonna play out for the youth, and we're raising our own versions of that in our households, and they have us to look at as an example. That's a scary fucking thing, man. I feel like a lot of people these days are not adults. Like I mean even me, I feel like a big baby sometimes. I feel like a big fucking baby.
Funny
I don't
stuff.
know.
Sometimes
Tough,
like I
man.
just go like I got this is happening right now, this is happening right now. I can't forget about how the how does she make this shit look like there's so much effort that has to and I find myself aggravated at this.
Yeah, I don't want to be aggravated.
All for shit that's not gonna be like that's no deal tomorrow. They're not gonna forget the attitude.
They're resilient, but they're not going to forget, you know? Like,
Yeah.
like one thing that I'm noticing Gianna do now is when she thinks she's in trouble or when she thinks she's done something wrong, or if I go like, hey, like she's about to hurt herself or something, right? Like she picked up my back scratcher. It's like it's got little points on the end, and she was whipping it, and I was like, "Whoo!" Right? Like, because imagine if she hits herself in the face with that thing, it's gonna be a wrap. So I had to like get this weapon from her, and I think the way that I reacted when I saw it, it like scared her, and she put her head down, and she like, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
did these, and I
Uh,
felt like the biggest piece of shit because I didn't mean to make her feel like she did something wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. I scared her because I was like, ah. right? Like, ooh, fuck.
Yeah, because
No,
you were
give me
kind
that.
of scared. Like, yeah.
Yeah, right. But my reaction triggered a reaction from her, right? And that reaction that I got was I scared. Like, what did I do, Daddy? I didn't. I'm sorry, but you don't have to apologize to me, honey. Like you didn't do anything. I'm sorry. She can't understand all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the stuff that I worry about. I worry about those little things because for me, that's what I remember. I don't remember the big, happy, fun times. I remember these little sharp moments that have essentially defined my life, you know, has me comparing myself to my father all the time, you know, like what, so I have this memory of mine, right? I have this memory of him getting so pissed off at the three of us for making noise in the living room. He was in the kitchen on the phone or something, and we were screaming and laughing and yelling and all kinds of stuff, and he had told us to be quiet. I want to say at least 3 or 4 times. Probably was 10 times, you know? And he probably said it so calm the first maybe 5, 6 times. The only thing I remember is him screaming about us being loud and him grabbing my sister by the arm and like picking her up and placing her on the couch. Like the way that he did it angrily. Like he didn't hurt her, but he did it very roughly. And that moment stands out to me. Like it stands out to me like crazy because it looked angry. It doesn't matter that we probably deserved it. I'm a kid. I don't understand that part.
Time check, guys. Yep. Well said.
Not to cut you off. Yeah, I was like, not to cut you off, but
All right. That's it for episode 109. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
It was a great conversation, though.